Hello everyone, my name is Will Mobest. I'm currently the instructor for CSIT 174 TCP/IP infrastructure at Miracosta College. Today I'd like to go over IIS and FTP. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my server manager, and then I'm going to tap or click Add Roles and Features. The Add Roles and Features wizard is going to come up. Then tap Next. I'm going to do a role or feature-based installation. I'm going to verify this server pool information, just the name and the IP address, because I only have one server in this particular environment. I'm going to click Next. Then I'm going to scroll down in the Roles drop down, and we're going to select Web Server. It's going to ask us to add these features, and we're going to say Add Features. We're going to click Next, and Next again, and Next. And we're going to scroll down on IIS, and we're going to select FTP server. After that, we're going to add Windows authentication as well, and that is going to do it for us. Actually, yes, that is going to do it for us. We're going to click Next, and we're going to restart if automatically prompted. We're going to hit Install, and this will take between 5 and 10 minutes depending on the speed of your machine. If this is running on a fully functional server, you can expect a very short installation time on this particular installation. So while we're letting that cook, we're going to do some cleanup on what we need to do as prep work for having an FTP server. We're going to hit Shift and right click on the desktop, and we're going to open a command prompt. We're going to type in MMC and hit Enter, and we're going to hit Control and M, and that's going to bring up the Add and Remove Snap-ins wizard. We're going to select Active Directory Users and Computers, and we're going to hit Add. And we're going to hit OK, and we're going to expand this. We're going to expand our domain, and we're going to go to Users. Now this is one way to get there. The other quicker way is to go to, looks like our feature installation is done, but we'll get back to that a little bit later. I'm going to go ahead and close that for the time being. I'm going to go to Tools, then I'm going to go to Active Directory Users and Computers, and it'll bring up that menu for me. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a group. I'm going to call it FTP Users. And I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so we just want to verify that that group's there. We want to hit, we want to right click on this group and go to Properties. We're going to add some members. We're going to hit Add. And then we're going to type Administrator. And we're going to hit Apply and OK. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to open up Windows Explorer, and we're going to navigate to the C partition. We're going to right click on this empty window, go to New and Folder. We're going to type in FTP and root, and this will act as our FTP root for our FTP server. And what I mean by that is it's going to be the root directory for that server. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to close Active Directory Users and Computers. Now I'm going to go to Tools. I'm going to go to Internet Information Services Manager. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to expand it so that way you guys can see everything. Over here it's going to show our server and who we're logged in as. For this one we can just hit no and don't show this message again. Under sites it's going to have our default website. So right now if we go to this link over here that says browse website, we can click that and it should bring up the basic website that comes along with every Windows product. And Internet Explorer is just being a little bit slow. It says Internet Information Services, and we're ready to go. We're going to hit close. We're going to go to Sites. We're going to right click on Sites, and we're going to hit Add FTP Site. The FTP site's name is going to be FTP. This is where we did that extra work, that pre-work. And we're going to add the physical path, which will be our FTP route. So we're going to go to the C drive, FTP route, and that will be our root directory for our FTP server. That's where all our files will come in, and that is also where the directories that we'll create will be as well. So I'm going to hit next. We're going to change it to the address of the server, which is that address. We're also going to select no SSL because we don't need any encryption for this particular instance. We're going to hit next, and we're going to select basic, and we're going to select under this authorization, we're going to allow access only to specified roles or user groups. We're going to type in FTP users, and we're going to give them read and write permissions. We're going to hit apply, or excuse me, we're going to hit finish, and now we have our small FTP site. So now we need to do some additional pre-work. We need to go to authentication. We need to click on basic authentication, click on edit. The default domain is Chimera. For this environment, I just want to verify. Oh, I misspelled it, only slightly. That is a very common mistake though. If you slightly mistake, or if you make a slight typo when you're doing this, it'll cause you a lot of problems later on down the line because it will try to authenticate with a domain that it doesn't know. So we're going to hit OK. So I'm just going to minimize this really quick. And we're going to go back to Tools on our Server Manager, and we're going to select DNS. We're going to create an alias for this server so that way it's easy to remember. We don't have to remember DC1, we can just remember FTP. So that alias is going to be the alias of the server, which is going to be dc1.chimera, almost did it there again, .net. And we're going to hit OK, and what that's going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to have a little bit more freedom with how we name the server. You should always keep the name succinct so it's easy to type, but it will allow us not to have to remember the fully qualified domain name as it sits right there. So what we can do is type in FTP just in Windows Explorer / ftp.chimera.net, and we'll get prompted. So we're going to use the administrator account with the administrator, not administration account, and we're going to type in the password, and we're going to log on. Now the folder is empty. We're going to create a new folder. We're going to call this Documents. We're going to create another one called Photos. And we're going to call this next one Graphics. Okay, now we're just going to put a document in there really quick. And we can do that by right-clicking here on the desktop, creating a new text document. This is going to be called doc1. Click on that, and we can place that in our FTP server, and that file is now on the FTP server. Under Photos, I'm just going to do a little, I'm going to edit this just a little bit more. I'm going to go to View and change the file extension on this particular document. I do not suggest doing this in real life, but for this demonstration, I just need something to place in there with the appropriate file type title. So this next one is going to be a GIF, right? That's going to go in our graphics file. We're just going to copy those there, and I'm going to hit delete. We can go back to the server now and hit refresh up here, and we're going to go under sites again, and now we have this directory structure. We're not going to be able to see anything, but we can hit explore and it'll show us what's inside. Additionally, if we want to go and see who is accessing the server at this particular time, we can go into FTP current sessions, and it will show us exactly what's going on. We have a client whose IP address is the same as the server. It just happens to be the administrator for the server, and he's started about 8:01, and the last command was at 8:03. So that is it for this video.